Do you know when you're waiting for the answer on whether or not you're going to get the 1.2 million, was it like 50-50 or were you going into it knowing I got this, no big deal? I'm just trying to.
It was a shot in the dark, Steve. It was a shot in the dark. I just totally kept my day job. Um, I I was shocked when the notice came in of
Really?
notice of award. I truly was
Do you
shocked.
remember where you were sitting and was it a phone
Yeah, I
call?
was sitting at my desk doing my job, my day job, and it came in. I said, "Oh my goodness,
Did
this
you,
is a big deal."
The vast majority of patients that have breast cancer right now have that hooked wire procedure, which is where they come in the morning, they have this fishing hook type wire placed in their breast, and the surgeon then kind of palpates to find the cancer and remove it. Instead, we replace all of that by implanting a tiny 3 millimeter size permanent magnet the size of a sesame seed. And then we have a wand and tablet that act like a precision GPS and provide the surgeon with true 3-dimensional guidance. So they know where their wand is, they know where the marker inside the cancer is, and they can immediately get there with unprecedented precision and efficiency. So now surgeons can, not only is the patient experience completely improved because now they have no wire protruding their breast.
But at the same time, think about it, and I'm not going to be nosy and ask you if you've done therapy, but I have. And there's times that, like you're in a moment, right, of anxiety or worry or trying to process something. And that moment passes before your appointment. And so in this beautiful moment, you can message your therapist and share like a big aha or ask for guidance. Or, there's such value in it. So it's really, we do research as well. So we do like evidence-based research. So honestly, asynchronous and live video, really the evidence shows that they're pretty much equally effective.
I'll just tell you one quick story that is happening for us in real time. We have a resident who was sent to us by MDHI, the Metro Denver Housing Initiative, with a voucher. This person was homeless, came to us. With our relationship with MDHI, we can't say no. So that the person has a voucher. It's a single person moving into a 1-bedroom unit. And that person is delusional and thinks our property manager has designs on hurting him. And
she's
so bipolar,
schizophrenic, or whatever.
Right. And so he's very menacing to our property manager, who doesn't feel safe in this person's presence.
I can see it.
But we have a really hard time evicting that person because we have to figure out what exactly what lease violation he is tripping over. So it's a very difficult situation. And our property management and our resident service coordinator, they're really there to serve this person, but that person is actually threatening to them.
If there was government regulation that stepped in and forced people to do this, we would be having very different conversations.
Yeah, you just nailed an important topic there. For small businesses, the social issues or the environmental issues, these things that people do care about, and they do, most people want to help or make a difference. But when times get tough and they're having a cash flow meeting and they're like, holy shit, we may not be able to make payroll next week, all that other stuff is
right. I think especially in SaaS and startups, right? Like the easiest kind of SaaS product to sell is one if you can be like, hey, using our product has been shown to save the average company $10,000 per year. So pay us $1,000 and we can directly show you how we're going to save you $10,000. And it's
there you go.
We can make all sorts of claims, and we do, about how this is really good for your branding and it's good for, to live your values, and it helps you attract better employees and better talent and more investors, all of this great stuff that is important, but it doesn't hit the bottom line quite as directly.
It's very hard. Loans are harder right now for small business owners. Growth capital is harder. Even lines of credit I warn people, are a bit dangerous because they got really high interest rates if you don't get that payment in. And so right now, the most important capital is the capital you have. Yep. So holding on to it tight, diversifying, where it's coming in, really looking at, we had a 3-hour exercise Monday on every single spend we have down to office supplies?
Recently, I've been taking a couple of AI courses just because, look, I'm not going to be an AI coder, but I need to understand this stuff.
Yeah.
So, I think learning and acquiring new skills and getting familiar with things is never ending. And you have to be passionate about learning. You can't get too attached to the things that used to work. And you have to rely on really good people around you to make good decisions and not be fixated on how something gets done, but what gets done. And if you can align on the what and allow good people to drive the how, those are really the main people.
I mean, it's always shocking.
I appreciate you.
I always look at it, I'm like, wow, really? This is your problem? I'm so depressed. Why are you so depressed? Oh, my son was not invited to the class party last week, and all the other kids were. I'm like, okay. How about I'm so depressed because 5 of my siblings just died last week from malaria.
Right.
So what happened was, and this is your industry, right? So I went to my guy who's in your industry, and I said I need 3 executives.
Yep.
And then I went to Toyota corporate, and I said I got a fantastic, undervalued lift truck company, but you're going to have to pay the price.
Okay.
We got it up to 40 million. We sold it for 40 million.
Nice.
And Toyota is notorious for clawbacks. So they went with a $3 million clawback. We got that down to $600,000.
Cool.
So he walked away with almost 14 million more than he thought he was going to get.
My own mother is 80. Mm-hmm. They just redid their bathroom specifically so that it didn't have, it was like a walk-in shower with no lip or no step or whatever. And then it had the seat where she could sit down. Like they specifically had it remodeled for her age and how she gets around. Are you telling me that could have been covered by insurance?
Or state municipalities? There's a bunch of funding sources for it.
I bet she didn't know that. I bet she had no idea. They just paid for it. I bet she had no idea.
We've been on calls with health plans who didn't even know they could cover it.
Wow.
That's how much of a gap we're talking about in knowledge. Not just,
totally.
Your mom or my mom or family members, their health plans, you were like, wait, this is, because not just Medicaid, Medicare Advantage Part C, private insurance now covers it. And they didn't even know they had the benefit because it's as new as 2 years ago. So we're probably talking about eligible populations for about 72, 73 million people today.
Do I think we should legalize drugs? Maybe yes, but it has to come with those structural systemic things to help people to get into treatment, to give them safe ways to use drugs. Hey, you can test this to see that there's fentanyl in it, right? Why don't we should be handing test strips out like candy. It should be like
great idea.
You know what I mean? Like test everything. Tell your kids, your kids are going to experiment with drugs. We all did, right?
Yep, totally.
Test what you're going to take. Don't be stupid. Don't get killed. So I think that we've got to do that first before we can just go, hey, look, we're going to take the restrictor plates off.